Check 1 2 test 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 test. Check 1 2 3 4.
I had it on. I thought I might do it just a little bit.
It's so hot and miserable. I said, I'll throw it in school.
No, it's her mic out there.
their head down. I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Carrollton City Council this Monday, August 1st, 2016. At this time, we would like to offer the Pledge of Allegiance, and I believe I saw the Boy Scouts here today. At least I thought I saw. Okay, good. And if we'll all stand. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I'd like to ask Fred O'Neill to please come and offer the invocation at this time. And if you'll please remain standing, if you're able to.
Let us pray. Our gracious Heavenly dear Father, we thank Thee for just another wonderful day at this time of year. We thank Thee for this wonderful assembly of our leaders that run our great city that we are so proud of. We thank Thee for all these opportunities we've been given and granted so graciously, so fervently. And we ask, oh Lord, that You just open up this meeting with the proper dialogue that will lead us and guide us in the right direction, that You lead those who lead us to a higher place. Thank Thee for all Your many blessings. Bless those who are sick and bereaved. And we thankful so much for those who protect our freedom. Thank You for our leaders as we follow, and we know they will make the right decisions today. We pray these prayers in Your name today. Amen.
In Jesus' name, amen. I would at this time like to hand the gavel over to our mayor, Mayor Walt Hollingsworth.
Thank you, Gerald, for filling in for me for a few minutes. I'm sorry I was 5 minutes late. I'm sorry. Gets us down to number 4, citizens' comments. Is that where you got left me at?
Yes, that's it. Thank you.
Is there anyone here that'd like to address the council at this time? Please keep your comments down to about 3 minutes each, please, if you don't mind. We're just in that section. It's in the bylaws. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm sure you all know by now, I'm Mitt Connerly, and Metro West Realty. I was talking to Dan McBrady today. He told me to smile since these proceedings are televised. So, I wanted to address briefly the 2 things that are related to housing on the agenda tonight. The first one is the formation of a single family committee. Not sure exactly what you're going to study, but I noticed in the Thursday paper there was one of the city officials commented that we're having a bit of a boom. Got 31 housing starts in the city this year. I would really say to you that's not a bit of a boom, that's a recession. I was in Noonan today and showing houses, unfortunately. And this was one subdivision that I was in. I don't know if you can see these or not. There were more starts in there than we've had the whole year here in one subdivision. They've had 250 starts in Noonan this year, 310 in unincorporated Coweta just outside the city, total of 560. That's a bit of a boom. That's a robust economy, an economy that's open for business. So I think before we characterize 31 as a bit of a boom, we probably should look at some of our neighbors and see what's really going on. The other thing is the density that you want to reduce the multifamily density to 6 per acre, which is really not multifamily any longer, but rather cluster housing. How many of you have had an occasion to drive through or visit Park Place 2 over on North Park Street? Any of you? Walt? I would encourage the rest of you to do that. It's a beautiful project. Get to know some of your citizens over there. I did. I went over, I visited, I went through the clubhouse. It's all brick, 55 and over, senior apartments. There's 120 units, and they're on 7.6 acres, which is 15.8 to the acre. 6 units to the acre, this project couldn't be built. And the reason, very simply, is, number one, the economics don't work. You got a 20-acre campus at that point, and you got roads everywhere that you really don't need. Secondly, the whole idea behind the seniors is to cluster them in such a manner that they can walk to the amenities and walk to the clubhouse. So before you pass that 6-acre deal, I mean, I'd encourage you to ride over and ride through that and take a look at that, because it might change your mind a little bit. I noticed too in the Bleakley study that where they talked about maybe tearing down some existing units, they suggested rather than a decrease in density that you increase the density to, I think it was 25 or so per acre. So you often tell us all about the benefits of this study, so perhaps we ought to follow it rather than pick and choose what we're going to follow. So those are the comments that I really would like to make. I would encourage you, I think it's been we've made it pretty clear now that we think we're digging a pretty deep hole here. So I would encourage you to stop digging and take a chill and hold off on that 6-acre multifamily idea until we can get some senior housing built and some other stuff. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mitt.
I'd like to echo what Matt said. This is Dwayne Hicks from, we both represent West Metro Board of Realtors as well, not just Metro West, but our realtor community would love to be a part of any discussion about housing and the studies, because we're understanding firsthand the pent-up demand that just can't be met, and also some of the resolutions you guys have passed is kind of starting to harm that significantly. So we're asking you, please hit the pause button on some of this stuff. Please stop passing resolutions that inhibit any growth. And we've invited the National Association of Realtors to come and help do a smart growth class for us and for our community. And we'd like to ask you guys to please stand down on passing some of this, especially this resolution tonight. We think it's continued harm to the housing industry.
Thanks, sir. Anyone else? Okay, brings us down to approval of the minutes.
Mr. Mayor, we have a young man. I was
I'm sorry.
going to invite him up, but I was going to make an amendment to the agenda, but he has already taken the floor.
Well, go ahead.
This is Nolan Tipton. He's a student of mine at the Institute of the Imagination, and he's also a young and aspiring entrepreneur with an idea, and he wants us to change one of our ordinances. And let me say, too, on a side note, I did not coach him in any way, and I had no idea he was going to do this. So if he may, take the floor. Nolan.
Hi, my name is Nolan. Have you ever been walking one day and you really wanted a cold popsicle? Well, now you can, because I created a local honey popsicle that will make you have more energy, and it's a cold popsicle, and I like it. You may like it, so I would like you to try my popsicle.
Gerald?
Well, I think he has a question. You want to be able to sell these popsicles on the streets, right?
Yes.
And right now it's not legal to sell popsicles on the streets. Is that
Yes.
what it is? So I think what he wants us to do is change a particular ordinance, Tim, that prohibits the sales of popsicles on the street. You want to address that? I'll come down and wait.
I do know, Mr. Byrd, what the point was, and certainly we didn't want to impact such a fine young man as this, but the point was to make sure that someone who owned a restaurant, say on the square, was not impacted by somebody running a hot dog stand right in front of their building. And so that was the intent. Maybe we can look at something where it's okay for children to do this. I don't know. We'd need to involve our attorney. We need to find a way to accommodate him, but that was the intent, so that someone who owned a building, was paying taxes and water bills and that sort of thing, was not impacted by someone who was just peddling in front of their store. That was our intent, at least.
All right. Do you understand that? that we may make there's a word called variance. We may make a variance or a special dispensation just for you and just for kids, saying that you could maybe have a lemonade stand or sell your popsicle in front of or out in the square. Because if people sell big things, if someone sells, say, a big chicken sandwich with bacon on it right in front of Pearls, or it's not called Pearls anymore, but right in front of, I'm old, right in front of plates, it could shut plates down or it could hurt their business. Like, I don't want anybody selling paintings in front of my art gallery, you know? So we're going to work with you and work with your mom on making sure you can sell popsicles downtown. And I want one. I want the first one, all right? And the mayor probably wants one too, all right? Can we give this young man a hand for his courage? Can he, at the end of the meeting, if he survives, our meetings sometimes can be long and boring and drawn out, and sometimes we argue, but just act like you don't see Mr. Bird arguing when he argues, okay, even though you probably seen me argue before. But at the end, can he hit the gavel?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to let you close the meeting out tonight, all right? You feel good about that? High five. Let's give him a hand, y'all. Thank you, Noah.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Gladys North, and I live at 130 North Garrett Street. I had no intention of saying this until I left home. After you turn off Austin Avenue and you turn, I'm left hand, you turn right onto my street. And as we were turning onto my street, leaving home, another car came in. And that car had to come over on our side, on this side, on the right side. They were on the left side, but they had to come over on this side because the growth of the shrubbery, the trees, the vines is all over on that side. So I need to know who I need to talk to since this is the city. And I asked somebody back there, could I ask about this? The street is taken care of pretty good, but nobody cuts that. They come through and they pick up trash. They do what they normally do. But my concern is that I don't know if the lot is vacant or the house that's on Austin Avenue owns this back lot. But it's kind of beginning to get dangerous because when they turn in, the scrub and stuff is so bad until they have to come over on a person that's driving on the left-hand side.
Yeah, we'll get somebody look into that.
Oh, what good?
We recently did that on Joshua Mabry Street and Old King Street as well. I think that was a corner that we took care of last week for a family there. So that's no big deal, is it?
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Is there anyone else?
Mr. Mayor, if I may, right quick, too, if I could interject. There's a man in the back. Lord, what if I forgot your last name? It's been a long day. Gosh, pink shirt. I know your last name. Newell, Mr. Newell. I do apologize for that. I'm over 40 now, so it happens. Mr. Newell, good friend of mine. He brought his dog today, and his dog is a service dog. And you're probably wondering, why does he have a dog in the council chamber? He has a dog in the council chamber because sometimes we hear on the streets that we don't do anything and we don't listen to the concerns of citizens. A couple years ago, I was in his store getting jump ropes for the school. He makes rope, and he gives us the end pieces of those ropes to make jump ropes. And he asked me about a dog park. He said he had been trying to get a dog park in Carrollton for a long, long time, and no one would listen to him, and he gave me a whole story. I said, look, stop, just stop. I immediately made a phone call. A couple weeks later, we had a dog park here in Carrollton. I'd like to applaud Mr. Newell and his dog, Belle. I did get that right, correct? And his dog, Belle, for the wonderful dog park that we have in this town, that it was his idea, his brainchild. I'd like to applaud him now. for his, I guess, his vision, and also his dog. So thank you for being here, Mr. Newell, and thank you to the mayor and council and the former administration for making that happen. I've forgotten about the dog part, but it's certainly one of those crown jewels, one of those jewels in the crown of Carrollton. So I'm certainly glad that that's a nice amenity to have here.
It's on Longview Street. Isn't it?
It is on Longview. That's exactly right. My dog was afraid of it at the time, so I never went back to it. We tried one time, but Andy would probably like it now. So I'd like to give him a hand and give Belle a hand, too, for being here today.
Is there anyone else? Hearing none, we will move ahead to approval of the minutes.
I move we approve the minutes as presented.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your right hand. 4-0. Number 6, approval of agenda items for consideration.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to ask the mayor and council to add a couple of items to the agenda that were given to me, one today and one last Friday. I'd ask for an item number 8, which is to consider a billboard lease with Fairway Outdoor Advertising. And then the other item is a number 9. The police department would like to purchase a police cruiser. And I'll give you the details on those when those items come up.
Are there any other additions, retractions? Hearing none, we will vote on approval of the agenda items for consideration tonight. All in favor, please raise your right hand. It's 4-0. That takes us into number 1, water and wastewater awards. Same much as you, Tim.
Tony Richardson's going to make a presentation tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. I'd like to recognize a couple of departments tonight that received some awards over the last year. The Georgia Association of Water Professionals recognizes a facility each year that demonstrates perfection in compliance. A drinking water facility and a wastewater facility conducts thousands of analysis each year to ensure compliance. And this award recognizes those with a perfect compliance record. Our water plant has received the Gold Award. Some of the past awards through years past were Gold Awards in 2004, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2011, and 2014. They've also received a Laboratory Quality Assurance Award for 2005 and 2012. There was also some individual awards received by our Water Superintendent, Miss Connie Nelms, the Ira Kelly Award, the Elizabeth McIntyre Award, and the William J. Green Award. These are both statewide and national awards recognizing professionalism and excellence in water. Our wastewater treatment plant has received a Platinum Award. Like the Gold Award, it also recognizes perfection in compliance, although it requires that you do so for more than 5 consecutive years. Our wastewater plant has received the Platinum Award for 9 consecutive years of perfect compliance. In October of 2015, our water plant received a sanitary survey through the Georgia Department of Natural Resources Environmental Protection Division, and it is scored, and they received a score rating of outstanding performance. So at this time, I'd like to recognize Connie Nelms from the Water Department for her efforts and that staff for the Gold Award for 2015. Thank you. We'd also like to recognize Mr. Danny Dyer, wastewater superintendent, for the Platinum Award for 9 consecutive years of compliance. This is indication of the staff of the city of Carrollton, their dedication. They're on duty 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. At Christmas, July the 4th, holidays, they're on duty. So, again, we'd like to recognize the entire staff of both departments. Thank you.
Congratulations. Number 2, Resolution 20, 2016 Fire Protection Requirements Amendment. Tim?
First of all, I'd like to thank Mayor Hollingsworth, all the council members, and City Manager Grizzard for your consideration tonight of adopting these fire codes. We feel like if these fire codes are adopted, it will greatly enhance our capability to save lives and property. I'd like to give you a brief explanation of why we feel like these codes are so very important. Firefighters today face dangers that we didn't face in the past. Construction products have changed. The building methods have changed. With the introduction of lightweight truss construction and the use of engineered or manufactured wood rather than true dimensional wood, which we like to refer to as solid wood, it's created a lot of problems for us. It causes premature building collapse. It causes rapid flame spread throughout buildings. You may already be familiar, but these trusses are held together by gusset plates, which are thin metal plates with quarter-inch or half-inch spikes coming out of them that are pressed into the wood that hold these roof trusses together. When they're involved in a fire and those plates heat up, they simply pop out of the wood and the trusses collapse in. We face the same problems with floor system failures. The old floor joist that used to be a 2 by 12-inch solid piece of wood has been replaced by engineered products, which now is a particle board strip of plywood with a 2x4 glued on top and the bottom. They fail miserably in fires, especially if you have a basement fire and you go into the main level of the house. You've always got to worry about whether or not this floor is going to collapse. These products have been around for a while, but it's an increasing problem to us because now it's commonly used in the construction of commercial or multi-story buildings. What we're asking for in the codes here tonight is for your assistance with helping us to be able to get in, rescue people, and to put these buildings out before they're a total loss. The codes include the assistance of fire suppression systems that will allow us the valuable time that we need to get in and to hold the fire in place. In years past, with the older construction with thicker density of wood, we hope to have 25 to 30 minutes to fight a fire inside of a building before we had to worry about the roof collapsing. With the use of these new products, that time has been decreased to about 7 to 10 minutes. Keeping in mind, 7 to 10 minutes, that's from the time someone discovers the fire, calls 911, dispatches us, we drive out there, pull the fire hoses and equipment off the truck, get inside the building, locate these people, and get them out. That's just not very much time to work with. The city has always just adopted the Georgia Minimum Fire Code, whatever the state required, and it served our city for many years. But with the addition of these new methods of building and the new products being used, we need to enhance that code tonight. Cities and counties our size, our neighbors, have already adopted these codes because of the same issues that we're having, and it's really time for us to provide these safety measures, not only to the citizens, but to the firefighters too. All of these codes proposed here tonight are absolutely geared towards saving lives and property and to give a little bit of safety to the firefighters. And all of these codes are reactive to problems that we already have here. These are not codes to address things that may come up in the future other than preventing the same thing from happening. These are problems that we already have here. I don't plan to go over all 10 codes in depth tonight because I feel like half of them are common sense and pretty much self-explanatory. But there is 5 key things that I would like to touch on here tonight that would be provided to us if you adopt these codes. The first thing is access to buildings. We have a lot of multi-story buildings around town that are not accessible by our ladder truck on more than one side. These are multi-story buildings. If someone became trapped in them and the fire's on the side that we have access to, then we got to look at other means to try and get them out of the other side, which is going to cost us valuable time by having to use ground ladders or other methods. We have dead-end fire lanes around big commercial buildings with nowhere to turn the fire truck around to quickly relocate it or to move it if we feel like a building collapse is imminent. We also have fire lanes located within the collapse zone and nowhere to move our trucks farther away from the building to get the correct access that we need. This would help us to prevent all this in the future. The second thing is it would provide us with fire suppression systems or sprinklers to assist us with holding the fire in check inside these buildings until we can get in there and do our job. We're also asking in the codes that kitchen hood extinguishing systems be provided in commercial buildings that has sleeping accommodations. We have several buildings in town now that has sleeping floors or bedrooms above commercial kitchens with no fire protection. We have some multi-story buildings in town that you enter through the ground floor, through the kitchen, 2 floors of bedrooms located above. The number 1 cause of fire in the country is from cooking accidents or unattended food being left on the stove. The kitchen is likely to be the place that these fires will occur, and we have people sleeping 2 floors above with no way to get out of the building. This would help to correct things like that. The third thing is the location of fire hydrants and the adequate number of fire hydrants. You know, a common rule of thumb with us is the bigger the building, the more water it's going to take to put a well-involved fire out. On some of these big structures, it may take more than 1 fire plug. It might take several to get the water flow that we need to get this fire under control. The fourth thing is that I would like to mention tonight is it will add some protection to breezeways, porches, and decks. We have a lot of buildings around town, 3 or 4 stories high. That's essentially 2 separate buildings with a common roof. They're connected in the middle with breezeways, stairways, that are built out of ordinary combustible wood. We're continuously catching people using barbecue grills on them. I'm talking charcoal and lighter fluid. Storing lawnmowers, motorcycles, cans of gasoline, and this is the only way for these people to get out of these higher floors of the building. So that would straighten all that up. And the last thing is a way to address unsafe buildings that have become fire hazards. We applaud Councilman Byrd for your endeavors on the blighted houses and structures around town. But we also face that on the commercial side. One building comes to mind that was not properly constructed. It's been vacant for many years. The floors were poured concrete that were improperly installed. At least half or maybe a little more of those floors have already caved in, and the whole building is crumbling down. But currently, we don't have a way to address these fire hazards. If we get a call on that building that there's a fire inside that building and there may be someone in there, then our firefighters are going to go in to try and rescue this person and locate them in a crumbling building that's already fallen down. That would help us to address this. I don't want to take up a whole lot of your time tonight, but I feel like this essentially is what we're asking for. Myself and the fire marshal are here tonight, Tracy Smith, to address any questions or concerns that you may have. But what we're really asking for is for you to give us that few extra minutes to get inside these buildings and to make a difference that can mean life or death for people. It would give us a way to address these dangers so that they won't occur again in the future. So, thank you for your time.
Jimmy, could you hang on a second, Jimmy? In case anybody's got any questions, can you hang on a second?
Yes, sir.
I have a couple, not necessarily questions, more just I'm unsure of the. I've read through this whole resolution. There's a couple parts in here that says comments about townhomes being residential versus rental, or owner occupied versus rental properties.
Yes,
And-
that was a big issue with us, and we have an apartment complex here in town that's built on the pretense that it was going to be individually owned townhomes. And we noticed it's close to the university, and we would see college students coming in and out. So we went over there and we just asked them, hey, you own this apartment? And they said, well, no, I'm a college student. I rent it. Come to find out, we had 8 or 10 students living in these multi-story buildings with no fire suppression or fire protection at all. All the way in and out was through that kitchen. Kids have bad cooking habits, especially college kids. They leave stoves on, they leave food on there, they put pizzas in the box, in the oven to heat them up. And you know, we deal with that a lot. But we're talking about a fire that's blocking the only way you have out of this building. We feel like if these codes are imposed, that it will truly be owner occupied, but they have a clear understanding that if they change it in the future and decide to make it rental property to house multiple people, then they have to bring it up to code.
And I didn't mention beforehand, thank you for your awesome presentation of it. And I understand the importance of making sure that both the firefighters and residents of our community are completely safe in as many different ways as possible. I guess I just have a few more questions about this sort of stuff, and I'd love for us to be able to have a discussion about it, a more in-depth discussion. In terms of the enforcing those sorts of rental units, I'm unsure of how those rental spaces would be enforced other than going door to door. Is that something that we would be able to enforce?
Well, fortunately now we have resources and personnel that we didn't have several years ago. We have a full-time fire marshal. He is actually the one that caught this. And when they began to do the newer development of it, we were able to address these issues, and they will be sprinkled. We're trying to take as much of a proactive approach as we can to fire safety without imposing too many rules and regulations on anybody, from the developer to the construction company, but we want to look out for the people that's going to be living there once all this is done. We have always just adopted the Georgia Minimum Code, which is the very most basic thing that Georgia law allows. We would like to continue to use that code with the addition of these few simple ordinances that would address the issues we're having with modern building products. We feel like we were at the right point to request that. These building products that I talked about first came out in a residential setting. But there's a huge difference between a 2,000 square foot house and a 5,000 square foot. There's really a big difference when you get up to the 12,000 square foot. When you get into buildings that big and you have the extra weight of multiple heating and air units in the attic, water heaters, specialty equipment, additional wiring, occasional lightning strikes, it means a lot to us to have something in place that will hold this fire in place to give us enough time to get in there. And that's what we're looking to do tonight. We have never been aggressive on adopting codes. We have 2 codes in the Code of Ordinances from 1975. One of the codes states that you can't tamper with the equipment on the fire truck when you're at a fire unless the fireman asks you for help. The old timers told me that code was put in place because we had an issue with teenagers and college kids stealing axes and other trophies off the fire trucks to go in their bedrooms or dormitory walls. The only other code we have states that you can't store combustible or flammable liquids in the downtown area. That's it. That's the only codes we have. We're asking to keep the very basic, just to add these 10 on there that would prevent the issues that we're having now and to prevent these dangers in the future. I don't think it would really be overburdening on anyone. I think it's a very good compromise for safety with looking out for everyone else and the citizens.
You present a good case. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jimmy, can I ask one question, please?
Yes, sir.
Is this going to be retroactive going back?
Nope.
So
It'll
it's just
start from here out.
Here going forward.
Yes.
So the owners already that's got older buildings and whatnot,
Good.
they're still grandfathered in as to where you were.
Yes.
So they're not going to incur any more costs.
Exactly.
So it's just on new construction.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Any more questions?
Good job.
I'll make a motion to adopt this resolution 2016.
I have a motion to adopt. Do I have a second? I have a second from Mr. Waters. Is there any discussion? No more discussion. I assume you're ready to vote. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion carries 4-0. Resolution 21, 2016, Unified Development Ordinance Amendment. Who's got the, oh, I'm sorry.
The Planning Commission met in June to review the resolution that you have in your packets. And the resolution simply states that basically the maximum allowable multifamily density would be lowered from 10 units per acre to 6 units per acre unless the development is treated as a special use. And then we also further define multifamily dwelling unit as having 1 kitchen and no more than 4 bedrooms. The Planning Commission reviewed this in June. They voted in favor of, or they recommend in favor of this particular resolution 4-1. So.
Could you read that one more time, a little bit
Sure.
slower, if you don't mind?
Sure. And if you'll look in your packets, it's actually, would you like for me to read you the?
Yes.
Okay.
Everything you just said.
All right.
again.
It's
More
basically
slowly.
further defining multifamily residential, which is a maximum of 6 units per acre unless a special use permit is obtained allowing a greater density. This district is intended to provide an area for moderate and high-density residential development. The regulations for this district are designed to provide areas for apartment complexes and other high-density residential development. Now, we also looked at, there was another place that we needed to change the ordinance in section 4.02.03. It simply says the same thing. The density of any multifamily development shall not exceed 6 units per acre unless a special use permit pursuant to section 2.04.24 is obtained from the mayor and city council allowing a greater density. And as I mentioned a second ago, we also further defined the term unit. There's been some questions as to whether or not it's a bedroom versus an actual, enclosed apartment number. And it's for purposes of multifamily development, each unit shall have a kitchen and no unit shall exceed 4 bedrooms.
So what was the current density, if you don't mind?
The current density in RM is 10 units per acre.
Say that again?
Is 10 units per acre.
So we're decreasing it by 4 units. Will we
Unless
need a
it's-
second motion, or is this all combined for the for section 4.0203?
It's all pretty much part and parcel of the same thing.
Okay.
I mean, you could, in theory, approve them separately, but it's really, they really relate to one another.
Can I clarify the intent of this, please? I'd just like to clarify, I'm a big fan of that Park Place development. That was a pleasure to deal with that developer, and you're right, it is a gorgeous facility. The intent of this ordinance was to allow you to go, right now you're limited to 10, or with a PD you're limited, I think, to 13.
Mm-hmm.
This would let you go beyond that if they come forward with something very nice like Park Place. So that was the intent, was to make it a win-win so that you had some incentive for them to come forward with a nicer product, an all-brick product, the kind of development that we want to see. And so that was really the intent of this. Otherwise, with the current RM density, they can build 10 units, and there's no real nice design standards. So that was the intent of this. Thank you.
One thing to think about, one of the recommendations in the Bleakley report that was mentioned earlier was the removal of existing density, the replacement, basically, of our aging housing stock. This would be an opportunity for you guys to get to review it, kind of, I guess, the entire package. So if they are coming in to remove, existing density from maybe like some dilapidated multifamily and increase it, it would give an opportunity for you guys to review it as a special use, and those things would be binding to the development.
So when you say aging housing stock, like what aging housing stock, if you don't mind?
I mean, I don't have one particularly in mind. I know that if we, you look at your multifamily developments, and the thought of a moratorium and the concern, I think, possibly from the development community is that we're going to stop all development. And what you want to do is kind of have it trickle in, and so you want to be able to replace the old with new. I think there's some opportunities near the college at the corner of Lovern and Brumbelow where possibly you could look at, putting up something new and taking down something older, and then you guys may want to consider, some sort of density bump in that regard. But it would basically be looking at it on a case-by-case basis. You would have an opportunity to review each development plan.
So this is just on horizontal ground, 6 units per acre. Does that include going vertical?
Yeah, you can design it however you'd like. So.
When you say aging housing stock, are you also referring to apartments or just private homes?
I'm referring to multifamily when I
Okay.
mention it here, yes.
Any more discussion from you guys? Any more questions for Eric or anything?
I'd like to just welcome Erica to the staff. Thank you.
Welcome back.
I feel like I know you all pretty well, so thank you.
Is there any discussion? Have a motion or anything?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 21-2016.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. I'll be honest, I mean, we'll go back into discussion a little bit here. I don't really have enough information really to carry this forward at this time, and I'd really love to bind this over to a work session so somebody can give us more information. I would feel a lot more comfortable going that way forward than to just jumping on this right here tonight. Would have loved to. I'd like to have more information before we go forward. So I would tender a notion that we table this till September or whenever we can have a work session on it.
Can I withdraw my motion?
You can't technically, but what you could do is Mayor Hollingsworth could.
Can I amend your motion, Mr. Waters?
It would technically be a motion to substitute, but the motion would be to substitute the current motion with a motion to table this until the September meeting. So the motion to substitute would need a second.
Second.
All right, and now you have discussion on the motion to substitute if there is any.
Is there any discussion?
I'd like to agree. I think that looking at some of the development like Park Place is a beautiful place that we want to see more of. We want to see more developments like that, but limiting it to a special permit for all this, I think I'd like to look at other options about putting guidelines in our ordinances or in our Unified Development Ordinance to really kind of define what we're looking for, so developers can look at a sheet and say, here's what I need to accomplish, or here's what the different aspects that I need to pass to be able to build in our city. I think it'll help promote good development like what we want to see, and really set that forth so the developers don't have to look at just spending a bunch of money, giving it a go with putting a special permit in, and then just to have that denied. I'd like to have those things more set forth for them beforehand.
Is there anybody else? Hearing none, if somebody's ready to vote on kicking this can down the road. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion carries 4-0. move it to September meeting. Maybe we'll have a work session on it before we come back.
And just for clarification, that's all in favor of tabling it, right? Until, okay, good. Thank you.
Number 4, budget update, Mr. Triplett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. I just wanted to take just a very few minutes to give you some budget highlights of our fiscal year end 2016 that just ended in June 30th. We have, as you know, started FY17. We're preparing for the auditors to come in and audit our books for FY16. They will be on site the week of August the 24th. As we typically do each year, the FY16 books will be held open the second week of this month to make sure that we get all expenditures and revenues recorded in the proper year. And so I will be issuing those final internal statements to you when we close our financial system in a couple of weeks. But I did want to share with you some highlights regarding revenues and expenditures in our main 3 operating funds. Going to the general fund, yes, as you know, 100% of the budget year, another year has come and is gone. We had a good year revenue-wise. Of the revenues that we originally budgeted at the beginning of FY16, we have collected 97% of those budgeted revenues, so we feel good about that. The next slide, and incidentally, you have a hard copy of these slides here for your record and take home, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Not going to go over all of these, but our current ad valorem property tax, we have collected 99% of our budget. Automobile tax, we have collected 105% of our budget. Our title ad valorem tax, we actually collected 122% of the budget amount. Sales tax revenue, you know, that's been up and down, and we're starting to show recovery in that. We actually collected 1% over our budgeted amount with that. Our occupation tax looks good for the year end. We've collected 11% over our budgeted amount. Insurance premium tax, 2% over our budget amount. Beer and wine tax, we've collected 6% over our budget amount. Utility franchise fees, we've collected 99%. We hit that pretty close. Energy excise tax, this is a tax that we put into place, I think 3 years ago, FY13. It's basically an excise tax on energy, gas, electricity used in manufacturing process. We didn't know exactly how to budget that since it was new, and we're still kind of getting our hands around that. We budgeted conservatively, intentionally, and as you can see, we have done very well with that. We budgeted $125,000 this year, and we actually collected a little over $231,000. So we feel good about that. And also, that's going to be a direct indicator of economic activity in the city because that's tied directly to the manufacturing sector. Recreation Department, we had a great year. We've actually collected 8% over our budget estimates for user fees for the Recreation Department. I want to talk a little bit about the bottom one, interfund operating transfer. There has been discussion about this line item over the last couple of meetings. As you know, we budgeted $2,508,000, and that is a fund transfer from the Water Sewer Fund and Sanitation Fund. If you will go back and look in the budget transmittal letter for last year and for the 2 years prior, we make a point to point out that even though there is $2.5 million budgeted, that we will only transfer the amount needed to bring general fund to a break-even point each year. These numbers may change just slightly, but it is only going to be required that we transfer $1.4 million. So of that budgeted transfer, we're only going to have about 58% of that. That can be attributed to 2 or 3 different things. Number one, some of these revenues coming in at better than we expected. And then the other thing is expenditures coming in lower than expected. We had health insurance, for example. We budgeted 12%. I think the actual increase was maybe 6, 7, 8%. And you've heard me say this many times, but we've got department heads that are very frugal about the way they spend the city's money. So all of these factors combined together to help us not need as much of this money as we originally budgeted. So that's a good thing. And I wanted to make sure that we point that out to you tonight. That's the general fund. Moving on to the expenditures for general fund. As we just said, we budgeted $20,995,279 for expenditures general fund wide. Those expenditures came in at 96%. There may be just a few more expenses come in over the next week or so, but we feel like we've got the majority of the expenditures for FY 2016 recorded. Testament to the way the departments are managing their money, and I want to give them credit for that. Water and sewer fund. We had a good year in our water and sewer fund. We actually collected 12% over our budget estimates for water sales and sewer sales. Haley, next slide, please. Water sales, we budgeted $6.8 million. We actually collected just over $7.1 million, 105% of our budget. Sewer sales, we budgeted $4.1 million. We collected right at $4.4 million, 107% of our budget. Penalty revenue, the 10% penalty on late payments, we budgeted $190,000. We collected $222,000, or 117% of the budget. Moving down to the expenditure side for the water and sewer fund, there again, our water managers, just like the general fund managers, they've done an outstanding job in managing their budgets. We budgeted just over $15.1 million, actually spent 12.7, 84% of the budget. Now, some of that, we had some money budgeted for capital expenditures due to scheduling and other requirements. We just didn't get around to spending all that money, but nevertheless, everybody is doing a good job of managing their money in the water department, and I wanted to make that recognition. Sanitation fund. Revenue. And we've got just one revenue line item, basically, and of course, that's sanitation sales. 103% of the budget collected, 3% over budget. We budgeted $4 million. We actually collected just over $4.1 million on revenues for sanitation fund. And then the expenditures, we finished out at 93% of the budget. So there again, all three of the operating funds, I feel like we've had solid financial performance, and I feel like we're closing out the year on a strong, positive note. Anybody have any questions or comments? Be glad to answer.
I do. First of all, thank you very much for that, but I had a question.
Yes, sir.
Are we going to let Jim do this at every meeting, do a financial report of the budget at every meeting, or can we just do it quarterly or biannually? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
He also needs to talk about setting millage rates.
I just, everybody knows about the reassessments that are going on, the appeals, that we haven't got consolidated digest numbers, and obviously, without that, we can't go forward. We're still waiting on the digest numbers from Carroll County. I just wanted you to just briefly go through the process of what we're going to be needing to do as far as setting the millage rate, depending on your goals and objectives for this process. As we go into this millage rate process, the certification, the approval, one of two scenarios are going to happen. We get the consolidated digest figures. We're going to go through a calculation where we compute what we call the rollback rate. And that rollback rate takes into account the inflation value added to the tax digest through reassessment. If you choose to adopt the rollback rate, which means our revenue for property tax will be revenue neutral, it's going to be a fairly simple, easy process like it's always been done. 14 days prior to the adoption, I will run the 5-year advertisement as we always do. We'll put a public notice in the paper, the city website, and we will have that meeting, and you will make that vote. Now, if you choose to keep the current millage rate or adopt a millage rate that is in excess of the calculated rollback rate, that's where it gets a little more detailed. We're going to have 3 public hearings over a 2-week period of time. And those 3 public hearings will have to be at various times of the day. Like the first week, you'll have to have one, say, at 11 o'clock in the morning. You'll have to have one at 6 o'clock at night. And then the actual week of adoption, you'll have to have a public hearing, say, at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and then the actual vote at your council meeting at 6 o'clock. All of these things have to be advertised in the paper, the local media outlets, the city website. And what I've done is most of this is just samples for you to look at and review. We're not going to go over all these tonight. Next slide, please, Haley. This is the 5-year advertisement from last year. And I just wanted to make sure that you had a copy of this to look at. One of the issues that we're looking at over the years 2010, 2011, and 2012, we lost nearly $500,000 in tax revenue to decreased digest values. And basically for the last 3 years, 13, 14, and 15, we've gained back maybe $50,000 of that. So we are still behind the curve there as far as getting that property tax revenue and value back. So I want to just give that to you for your consideration tonight. This next slide is just a sample. It's from a training manual from the Vincent Institute at the University of Georgia about the press release. If you adopt a rate that is greater than the rollback rate, this gives an example of the press release that has to be done, the advertising that has to be done, and I'll just let you read that at your convenience, and if you have any questions, you get with me and I'll be glad to explain it to you. Also, I've included one. City of Noonan is doing the same thing. I think they're having a meeting tonight, and I gave you a sample copy of the press release, notice of property tax increase that they're dealing with right now. And I wanted you to have that sample, City of Noonan, to look at. And so, next slide, please, Haley. This is a graphic timeline example. I think a picture is worth 1,000 words. And of course, this is about 10 years old and it uses a June date, so don't get confused with that. But if you decide to adopt a millage rate in excess of the rollback rate, you have to, the first week you have to advertise the first and the second public hearings. You have to advertise the 5-year history. You have to issue the press release all on the same day. And then 1 week later, you're going to have your first and second public hearings. And at the same time you have your first and second public hearings, you have to advertise the third public hearing for the next week. So it gets kind of confusing, but you've got to stay with the timelines. You have to advertise everything 1 week apart to stay in compliance with this. And then after you have the third public hearing, you can vote on the millage rate. So we will take care of that, but right now we can't do anything until we get those digest figures from the county. I think we're scheduling, is it August 18th, Tim, a work session? Hopefully we will have digest numbers to look at. If we don't, we will make adjustments and and hopefully we'll know something by that time. Next slide, just for your consideration. On the fourth column, the net assessed value of property, we've got it broken down in $50,000 increments, what the tax would be. at our current millage rate of 4.62 mills, so you can go through that and look and make comparisons. Self-explanatory. Next slide. This is the same slide that we gave you at the Callaway work session. This is a 10-year digest, history of our digest and tax levy. I think it's important to note that our net assessed value of our tax digest in 2015 is the same as it was between 2006 and 2007. And the net taxes that we levied last year during 2015 are about the same amount during 2006. So we're looking at 10-year-old values, not only in terms of tax digest value, but also actual value of property tax revenue for the city. Next slide, just a comparison. You have to be careful, and you can't. We just did a survey of millage rates from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. You can't make a broad apple-to-apple comparison because each city is a little bit different. But we've broken out these comparison of millage rates of surrounding jurisdictions and districts for your consideration. And the last slide that I have is just a current millage rate illustration. Home with $100,000 fair market value, the assessment ratio 40%. You back out the standard homestead exemption of $4,000. You have that net assessed value of $36,000. That $36,000 is actually the value that we levy the millage rate on. The city tax will be $166. The city school tax, $686, and the county tax, $303. And so you see the city, we're at the smallest end of the spectrum as far as the tax breakdown. One thing I failed to mention in going through the budget highlights, we started off, we were able to start off our fiscal year with the elimination of 4 positions from our citywide payroll, resulting in a savings to the city of just under $113,000. These savings and these eliminations of these positions came through a combination of consolidation and job functions and responsibilities. We combined job functions and responsibilities on some of these. There was some vacant positions that we were able to not have to fill, so we're saving money through attrition with that. And this gave us the unique opportunity to promote employees to supervisory positions, you know, at a lower rate of pay. This was a win-win situation for the city in that it gave existing employees a chance to progress and move up the ladder with their career with the city, but at a lower rate of pay for the current time, for current fiscal year. It saved us money during the current fiscal year. So it's a win-win situation for our employees, a win-win situation for the city. The salary savings for these 4 eliminated positions, $105,000. The associated FICA tax for that, $8,000. So we had a cost savings of just under $113,000. And also, we didn't calculate this in, but the savings would also be increased to not having group insurance, retirement, workers' comp on these 4 positions that were eliminated. So we wanted to take that time to highlight that and make sure that you knew about that as well. I've thrown a lot at you, but just wanted to make sure that, let you know that we're staying on top of this millage rate situation. We will have you information just as soon as we get it from the county. Anybody have any questions or comments?
That's a lot of great information. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to drilling down further into some of the details that are in here. But the detail that you have and the information that you go through every day, thank you for being able to present it in the way you do.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Excellent job.
Thank
and
you.
I'm so glad you do that. You do it well.
Thank you very much.
'Cause if I had to do it, it wouldn't get done.
As always, thank you, Jim. Number 5, single-family housing study. Who's got this one?
This one's mine. Just real quickly, a couple of you had mentioned that you might want a housing study on single-family housing. We just need some direction. Do you want to follow through with that? And if you do you want us to just continue with Bleakley, or we can do an RFP again. We can bring it back for you to vote on in September, or you can authorize us to just, have the study done and we can bring you the results, whichever you like.
I'll leave that up to you, unless there's discussion on the council as far as what group does the study. I just thought it would be better, since we are kind of looking at a lot of discussion about multifamily, to get a broader view of our whole housing situation in the city of Carrollton. So whether it's a combination of everything or focusing on single family or what, I just want a total broad view of it.
That's very well put. I agree. I think actually looking at doing a new RFP, I know there's contention with the Bleakley report from the board of realtors, other people around town. I think looking at a fresh RFP instead of just going with the same one, well, we can also look at the data that they researched. Hopefully that'll be able to supplement a new housing study. But I think more looking at housing as a whole, not just single family now and having multifamily as a separate study, but utilizing the information that has been gathered to be able to make a more cohesive housing study and maybe recommendations then from that.
I can just add one quick thing. There's this term that gets thrown around a lot, and it's called smart growth. I think someone mentioned it tonight, and that sounds great. I'm all for smart growth as well. I just don't know what it means. So maybe if we do proceed with this study, we could define smart growth and maybe get everybody on the same page as to where it is that we want to go.
Okay, I think what I'm hearing you saying then is we'll bring this, we'll take proposals, we'll bring them back to you in September and let you approve the proposal and the consultant.
And I'd like to really, writing the RFP on that, I'd like to maybe discuss that, maybe send it back to us. Maybe we could talk about it in our next work session, just to really ensure that we are getting back the reports that we're looking for.
I mean, are we looking for age of what we got for housing? I mean, what criteria? Only single family. I mean, we're talking about age purposed or new construction, 5-year. I mean, what are we looking for here?
Well, I know with the university, we're getting another record enrollment year. There's more growth in that area. There's demand, as we've heard, from senior family. There is demand for single family housing. I'd like to see at what points those demand levels are, and I'm not a consultant in that form, but being able to discuss what questions we need to be asking in terms of where do we already have demand, where do we need supply, in what areas, in what areas of town do we want to put these. I know in the Bleakley report it mentioned looking at zoning dorms as one area, maybe looking at that as part of more holistic housing recommendations for our city.
And maybe not counting dorms as houses, because I don't know if we should classify dorms as housing in the scheme of things.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
At least
Because
maybe just looking at the
Right.
definitions of that. And I think a work session discussion could really help kind of define what we're looking for in this, to more drill down these sorts of things, to be able to get in an RFP what we really want to see.
So, need a motion and a second? I'm pretty sure we have to vote on this. So you're gonna bring this back in September, right? Number 6, appointment of pension committee secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We need to appoint a new pension committee secretary, and my recommendation would be Jim Triplett for that job.
Is there any discussion or questions?
I move we appoint Jim Triplett as pension committee secretary.
Have a motion. Do I have a second? Have a second. All in favor, please raise your right hand. 4-0.
Thank you, Mr.
I'm
Mayor.
just tired. I'm sorry.
We ask that you reappoint to the Carrollton Area Conventions and Visitor Bureau Mr. Mike Hart and Mr. Chris Duffy. They currently serve. They're willing to serve again.
We have a, do we have a motion?
I make a motion to appoint both recommended appointments.
Do we have a second? I have a first and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, please raise your right hand. 4-0. We have item number 8, billboard lease. Tim.
Haley, if you'd put this photograph up. I was approached recently by a company called Fairway Outdoor Advertising. You can see this billboard that's near our water plant. It turns out we actually own that property. We did not know that was our property or our billboard. Actually, the billboard itself belongs to Fairway. Evidently, the city 20 years ago entered into a contract with this organization and let them occupy that space, and for, I think, $1 a year. They wanted to renew their lease. We have negotiated that. I spoke with Dwayne Wilson just to get some idea what it was worth, and he indicated $300 a month, and the gentleman on the back row may have a different opinion on that. He's in the billboard business also. They wanted to pay 2, we said 3. They wanted a 10-year lease, we said a 3-year lease. Frankly, I don't care if you do it or not. It's $300 a month free. But, you know, we can tell them no and have them take it down. It doesn't matter to me one way or the other, but I wanted to bring it to you to see what you wanted to do.
What are current height restrictions on signage in that area?
Well, billboards are considered different from signs, and frankly, I don't remember the height restriction, but this one's grandfathered because of the, you know, the size of it.
Age. So we're proposing a just for $300 or?
Yes, $300 a month is what they'll agree to in a 3-year lease. And again, we don't have strong feelings one way or the other. I don't have strong feelings one way or the other. If you don't want to do it, we'll tell them take it down. I mean, I truly don't care. I just wanted you to have the option to take it if you wanted. I think Connie's saying, please take it down. It's next to her plant. So it doesn't matter to me at all. Yeah, you tell them,
Does Connie really want this taken off her property? Is Connie here? You're Connie.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
You do want it taken down?
Absolutely. When they come in to replace the signs,
Mm-hmm.
they're damaging the curbing and going up the hill, and the rec department is constantly fixing the grass going back up that hill where they have tracked it up. And the curbing around the plant needs redoing now, and it's from their trucks accessing the billboard.
Does everybody out there know where this, because it took me a while to look at the building and know exactly what, y'all know where that is? Yeah.
Right at the end, if you came out of Rome Street, right at the end, you'd be staring at it.
Waterworks.
Is that our welcome to Carrollton sign right there?
Yeah, it is, yeah. Yep.
Rory, you want to see an opportunity right there, don't you?
Tear it down, suits me. I just wanted you guys to decide. I don't even like the guy. Let me put it that way, okay? He's not even nice. So tear it down.
Can we make a motion to just not renew the contract? All right, I'll make a motion to not renew the contract.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor of just telling Fairway Signs to take it down, raise your right hand. 4-0.
I like it. Makes my life simpler. Last item, Joel approached me this afternoon. He had found a heck of a deal on a police cruiser, a $34,000 vehicle for $21,500. Joel, you want to? Paid out of drug task force.
That was pretty simple. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to purchase the vehicle.
Mr. Roy, anybody want to make a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Byrd. All in favor? Well, anybody in discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please raise your hand. Carries 4-0. Good pick, Joe. On to number 7. We don't have anything else, do we? 8 and 9. Number 7, Mayor and City Council announcements.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, if you will, I would like to apologize to everyone. I'm in my 13th hour of work right now, and I'm really sleepy, and I know you are too. But there are a few things that I wanted to talk about today. And I'd like to give you a report over a couple things as well. I would like to thank Chick Griffin for working with me on housing in Carrollton and working with me on some of the structures around town and some of the properties around town that the city owns, and looking at possibilities of exciting projects that we're working on together with the Housing Authority. Chick, I would like to thank you for your hard work. I would like to thank you for all those grants that you're working on as well. One of the grants, and Chick, pardon me if I can't remember the name of it, because again, I'm in 13th hour and I'm starting to forget things, but one of the grants is a CHIP grant, I believe. It's called the CHIP grant, and it's a homeless prevention grant. And what we've learned is a lot of folks become homeless because they may have an outstanding gas bill that's over $1,000 or a water bill that's just crazy high. They can't afford to pay that, and they're evicted because they don't have those amenities or those utilities paid in their homes. What the CHIP grant will do is, and tell me if I'm wrong, Chick, it will cover the costs for those individuals so they don't become homeless. So we're excited about the CHIP grant. And there's another grant that Chick is working on as well. Chick, please tell me if I'm wrong. But if you own a home and you live in my ward, which is West Carrollton Ward 1, we are going to, if you own it and you live in it, not own it and rent it out, and if you're selected, am I jumping the gun? If you're selected, your house will be renovated from top to bottom and made brand new again. We're very excited about that. So, Chick, thank you for meeting with me. Thank you for working on that. Tim, thank you for working with him on that as well. City staff, I'm pleased. I'm elated. I'm happy. I hope I'm able to express that to you. My Facebook inbox is jumping right now, and I'm so excited about all the conversations that go on my Facebook page, good and bad. The arguments, I watch all those, so it's just incredible to watch this energy and watch the life just happen on my page. But one woman on my Facebook page wanted to know, she inquired about scholarships for the, I wish we could stand up and y'all can hear me, but she inquired about the scholarships to Carrollton Parks and Recreation and the Cultural Arts Department. I think she talked to Peter about that, and Peter confirmed that there are scholarships for people who cannot afford those programs. But she was wanting us to find a way to advertise those scholarships to the public. So that's something that I would just like to throw out there right now. Tim, I would like to thank you and Mike Green. If we could just give them a hand for demolishing those homes that you did last week and the weeks before that, and all the work you've done to clean up our city and make our streets look better, and make our neighborhoods a better place to live and make them more livable. So I'd like to give y'all a hand for that. There was another thing that I wanted Tim to work on as well, and that was through the, pardon me if and again, I'm really tired, but through our enterprise zone, if there's a way, because I think we had made that promise before. He's coming up here. Come on, Nolan. But there was a way, we had talked before about people with felony records, once they've done their time and paid for their crimes, being able to be employed somehow through the enterprise zone. I may not be wording that correctly, but that was brought to my attention as well, that was something that we had discussed before that maybe we forgot about. So if we could start exploring that as well. Thank you to everyone for making sure the River Drive potholes that were just incredibly terrible were repaired. And thank you for taking care of Burson Avenue and the folks on Burson Avenue as well. Their street was almost in shambles, and all those potholes have been repaired there as well. Thank you for the speed bumps on 5th and 6th, too. I've gotten lots of praise for those speed bumps, and certainly the streets are much safer there now. Thank you, everybody, for your support, and I'm sorry, I'm tired. No. It's not tired. I think they're going to say something.
I'd like to thank Tim for all your hard work this past few months since I've been on council, for all your work you've done in the years before. I'd like to say thank you to Erica and welcome you on board. I'm excited about working with you in the future. I'd like to say thank you to Tommy. Tommy's been putting up with me about the resurfacing of Stewart Street and restriping over there, looking at how we can accommodate more bicycle infrastructure in that area, crosswalks and pedestrian upgrades and stuff like that. You've been very patient with me, so thank you. Jim, as always, well done on the budget. You always, you're very concise, because I know there's a whole lot more detail than you're not presenting. So thank you for doing that. And I'd like to thank the mayor and council, including Matt, not here, for the continued conversation that we're having, the open discussion, transparency. We're being, I'm excited about what we're doing. I'm excited about the direction we're headed in with the city. So thank you to you guys.
Yeah, I just I wanted to mention this. I think everyone, or most of you guys, are probably aware we lost an employee that was retiring here in the next. Well, I don't think she's officially said when she's going to retire. But Libby Duke, who normally sits right over here, has resigned. Again, effective, I'm not sure. I think she's waiting to see about some personal stuff. But anyway, she's going to be, I think we'll all agree, missed from the city. So it's unfortunate that she's no longer going to continue in her job as HR director. So anyway, I don't know what we can do for her, but at least a certificate of appreciation for all her years of hard work. So it's something we should think about. Anyway, it's a big loss for the city, and that's all.
And Mayor Hollingsworth, if I may, I brought these roses tonight because I forgot Libby wouldn't be here, but I brought these roses for Libby. And for those of you who don't know Libby, she's an incredible woman. We've done incredible things together. I remember the Christmas where she collected bikes, and Joel, you were involved in this, and the fire department was involved in this, and toys for this family in West Carrollton. We went to their house and spent Christmas with them in their living room, and every child got a huge box full of toys, and it was absolutely amazing. A couple years ago, I wrecked the entire city council down in Savannah in a car. We totaled the car. It was my fault. That's sort of my fault. This car pulled out in front of us, and they would let me drive, and that was a big mistake. But we totaled the car. Libby came, found us, comforted us. We stayed in the hospital all night long. And we were even, involved in a murder in Savannah one time, and we had to actually step over the body in pools of blood, and Libby was there with us and comforted us and took care of us. She takes care of us during the parades and ties bows on everything she sends us. She's absolutely phenomenal. Last week, I was watching television at my house, and my dog started to bark. Libby was on my front porch tying something to my door. She didn't even know I saw her, but tying something to my door. And it was late at night, too. It was our packet and some more things that she was delivering to us. She sends care packages in my name to people who are moving into the area, to executives who have moved here. It's going to be hard, if not impossible, to replace Libby Duke, who is my friend and who offers advice to me and who's been much like a mother to me in this role, in this position. And I will miss her. And my prayers are with Libby and her family and with this administration as well. Thank you. And Mayor, one more thing. In the back, we had an employee by the name of Lucetta Williamson who lost her son, Mitchell Williamson, this past week. We love Lucetta. She takes care of our water department. She works in the water department. She's been there for a long, long, long time. Her son, Marcus, is here in the back. Marcus is the twin brother of Mitchell, who passed away. Mitchell was a close friend of mine and helped me campaign back in 2013. And he and Libby were very close as well. And Libby talked to me about him the day he passed and talked about how he always said great things to her in the parking lot as he waited for his mom to get off work every day. So in memory of Mitchell, and I will pay for this too, I would like for there to be some sort of a plate placed on a bench on the town square in his honor, because Mitchell stayed on that square all the time. He was probably the biggest patron to all the restaurants on the square, and I applaud Mitchell tonight for being a great person and for being so nice and being ambassador to our city. If you knew him, you know what I'm talking about. His smile greeted everybody on that square. So tonight I'd ask everyone to join me in applauding Mitchell Williamson for being a great ambassador of kindness, love, and hope. It's exactly what we all need. I certainly need a little bit of that, and actually a lot of it myself. Thank you, Mayor Hollingsworth. You're the best. Thank you.
Jim, always superb job on top of things. Joe, your staff, keeps getting good reviews out of y'all every day. Jimmy, I get calls all the time about y'all. I don't know what y'all doing over there. I think y'all feeding people on the streets or something. I'm not real sure, but keep getting calls about what great job y'all do. I want to say thank you to all the city staff, the job they're doing. Keep up the good work.
Just, again, I want to echo what's been said here. Libby's going to be missed. I want to thank her for 14 years serving this city and these citizens, and for 12 years supporting me. Again, I want to give Lucette and her family my condolences. She's been a family friend to my wife for 40 years, since they were children. She's worked for this city over 40 years, and I want to thank y'all for the prayers for my wife. Thank you.
At this moment, we'll say this meeting is adjourned, and Noah, will you slap the gavel?
All right.
Meeting adjourned.